The Rainbow Garden and the Three Best Friends. Once upon a time, there was a town called Sunnyvale, a place so hard to find on maps that those who did find it never wanted to leave. In this town, the sky was always the brightest shade of blue, and the clouds floated by softly, as if made of cotton candy. Right in the heart of the town lay the Rainbow Garden, the apple of everyone's eye. The flowers in this garden didn't just smell wonderful, they glowed softly like fireflies at night. The garden's greatest secret was the massive crystal flower standing right in its center. This flower was the life source of the town. The brighter it shone, the happier the people of the town would be. Living in this town were three best friends who completed each other perfectly. Alex was a boy who couldn't sit still, his energy never running out. His curly hair would dance in the wind whenever he ran. He was the one who carried the heaviest watermelons in town and climbed to the tops of trees in seconds. He was strong, but he always used his strength for good. Lara had a gentle heart and could hear the whispers of nature. She always looked at the ground while walking so she wouldn't accidentally hurt an ant. She could tell if flowers were thirsty just by the posture of their leaves, and she spoke to birds by whistling. Theo was the brain of the group. His curious eyes behind his glasses never missed a detail. Instead of toys, he carried encyclopedias, a compass, and his favorite item, a silver-rimmed magnifying glass, in his bag. When faced with problems, instead of panicking, he would say, "There must be a logical explanation for this." One morning, on a day when the birds were quieter than usual, the three friends ran to the garden to play. But when they stepped through the garden gate, their cheerful laughter got stuck in their throats. The garden was pale, as if a grey veil had been cast over it. The green of the grass had turned yellow, and the butterflies had stopped flying, roosting on branches instead. Worst of all, the heart of the garden, the magnificent crystal flower, was dying. Its bright blue leaves had turned ash-grey, and its head was bowed down to the ground. The magical glow around it had gone out. Alex shouted in fear, "What happened to it? It's like it's not breathing." Lara's eyes filled with tears. "It looks so sad, its leaves are ice cold," she said. Theo approached silently, rubbed his chin, and shook his head in worry. Alex turned to his friends and said, "Don't worry. I'll fix it. It just needs a little support, that's all." He stepped forward with confidence. He wrapped his strong arms around the flower's thick stem. Gritting his teeth, he tried to push the flower up with all his might. The flower moved a little, rose slightly, but Alex was straining so hard that his face turned bright red. "Come on, hold on," Alex groaned. But his strength was running out. The moment he relaxed his arms, the flower slumped back to the ground, heavier than before. Alex sat on the soil in defeat. "Oh no! My strength isn't enough." It was Lara's turn. "Using force won't work, Alex, it needs affection," she said. She poured water from her canteen into her palm. She gently cleaned the flower's pale leaves and hummed her favorite songs to it. "Come on, beautiful flower, please wake up," she whispered. The flower trembled slightly at Lara's voice, but its color was still gray. Love alone had not been enough to heal it. Lara looked at Theo hopelessly. Theo had walked around the flower exactly 3 times with his magnifying glass in hand. He dug into the soil, examined the spots on the stem, and then looked up at the sky and the position of the sun. Finally, He closed his notebook and called his friends over. "Friends, you are both right, but you are both incomplete," Theo said, not in a know-it-all way, but in a unifying voice. "The problem isn't just one thing. Look, the soil around the roots has turned to stone, so the flower can't feed. That's why the stem became weak and bent over. And because it bent over, it can't get sunlight to gather energy." Alex asked, "So?" Theo smiled, "So, Alex's strength, Lara's affection, and my mind. We failed alone, but if we are together, we can save it. I have a plan." Theo assigned everyone a task. A feverish work began in the garden. First, Alex stepped in. "Stand back," he said, and began to dig the hardened soil around the roots. He threw aside huge stones in a single move. The soil softened, and the roots were set free. A deep, cracking sound came from the flower, as if it was sighing in relief. Immediately after, Lara came. "Now it's time to feed it," she said. She poured fresh water and plant food into the soft soil Alex had opened up. She gently smoothed the soil with her hands, covering the roots like a soft blanket. And the final move. Theo took a small, shiny mirror from his bag. He calculated the angle of the sun and positioned the mirror correctly. The sunlight reflected off the mirror, hitting the very heart of the flower, its bud, in a sharp beam. Alex was supporting the stem, Lara was whispering to the leaves, and Theo was directing the light. The three friends moved as one single body. There was silence for a few seconds. Then, a hum rose from deep within the earth. A blue vein began to travel through the grey leaves of the crystal flower. As the beam of light filled the flower, the grey color gave way to a dazzling sapphire blue. Slowly, with its own strength, the flower began to stand upright. Alex no longer had to hold it. When the flower opened completely, it scattered dust in shades of pink, purple, and gold towards the sky. Everywhere this dust touched, every blade of grass, every tree, came back to life. The town of Sunnyvale had regained its colors. The three friends lay down on the grass, exhausted. They were covered in dirt, their hair was messy, but they had huge smiles on their faces. Alex, out of breath, said, "I didn't do this." Lara added, "I didn't do it either." Theo adjusted his glasses. "We did it," he said. As they walked home that day while the sun was setting, Alex, Lara, and Theo put a very important lesson in their pockets. Even the strongest arms, the most loving heart, or the smartest brain in the world cannot solve everything alone. But when these three come together, they can repaint even a faded world. The rainbow garden never faded again after that day, because the three little heroes protecting it had solved the secret. It lay in being together.